Hey guys, it's DP Carol, and today we have a discussion about plow turns for seaplane flying. As always, these are not complete lessons, but simply discussions around the table about more easily misunderstood topics of seaplane flying. Read the FAA Seaplane Flying Handbook and study those pictures, as this is where this content comes from. So here you go, plow turns in seaplane flying. Enjoy. So, we're going to talk about plow taxiing next and why this is a very unstable thing to do. Okay, so in plow taxi, the objective is to be able to turn the plane downwind in winds that are stronger than we can turn in with just the displacement idle taxi. Okay. That speed of the wind varies with each aircraft. What you're going to be able to do. But let's say we had about 15 knots of wind, like we do today at Lake Hood. Likely it would be very difficult for you to turn downwind in displacement idle taxi, because the seaplane constantly wants to weather vane into the wind, right? So let's put this on a piece of paper in a scenario, okay? If that's all right.
Yes.
So we have here figure 8 lake. Let's say winds out of here at 15 knots. The water is going to be rougher where? You remember this now.
So water's going to be more rough down here.
Yeah, very good. And what are you going to see on the water as signs of where the wind's coming from?
So it'll be very calm, almost maybe nothing over here, and then we'll start to see some bubbles. And then we'll start to see I believe it was parallel with the wind, the streak, like white streaks, and the waves will be going perpendicular to the wind.
Perfect. Yeah, that's right. And very important to know, because we have strong visual indicators where the wind's coming from, and it's of utmost importance that we land into the wind. If somebody were to land crosswind in a seaplane, it would be out of utter necessity, and they had better have the proper correction in. Because if they didn't, and they're being pushed sideways by the wind as they touch down, then it's a lot of drag on that float. We don't want a lot of drag on these floats sideways. So to put it in perspective, if you needed to land into the direction this way, into the wind direction this way, and it was too rough on this end of this big lake, so you decided, I will land on this end. I'm not stupid, I don't want to die.
Right.
So it's too big down there. So you decide to land here. And so you land your plane. By the time you touch down, you're here. This looks like a tiny lake. It is not. It's a huge lake.
Okay.
And I'm a poor artist, so the plane is not in perspective.
Okay.
But you have just landed here. But let's say that where you're going to, your cabin, is here. Well, you put your water rudders down, you come off the step, all that, put your water rudders down, but then you try to turn downwind and go to your cabin.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work, because now your airplane is an idle displacement taxi. Good keel effect if you're still moving forward in the water, but other than that, it is simply weather vaning into the wind. Immediately. As soon as you have the power off, it's going to go right into the wind. Well, these water rudders are only so effective at these speeds as you're going through the water at idle taxi. And so as much as you try to turn away from the wind, it doesn't let you. So let's say you try that a couple times. Well, there is another way to get the plane to turn downwind. However, it's typically not something that we want to do. It's a tool in the pilot's toolbox, and we need to have all of them. And you're going to learn it. However, there's some reasons we don't want to do the plow turn most days. Number one is the plow position. We're going to talk about why the plow turn works in a minute, but the plow position is unstable in the water. You're going to care about that because when you are needing to do this turn, likely you have a lot of wind. Likely you have waves. And as you're trying to turn sideways, this is happening. Yeah. So you also have a bunch of wind trying to pick up your upwind wing. Now you can counter that, and you should counter that with aileron in the plow turn. But if you get a gust and you have this rocking motion going on and you're unstable longitudinally in the water, oh boy, exciting, right? So most days that you need to do a plow turn, it's not a great day to do a plow turn. It's crazy. The only time that I've been able to do these plow turns safely in real life with like 35 knots of wind at Lake Hood is in a very narrow channel. Needing to get into a parking spot, for instance, in one of the fingers. Because there's no fetch there for the waves to build up. So it's a tool I've used, but it's kind of advanced and usually not recommended. Now, the other reasons you don't want to do a bunch of plow turns even all the time in training, like one after another is it's hard on the prop because a lot of spray gets picked up as you're in the plow. Another thing, it overheats the engine if you do it too much because you're asking more power from the engine, but it doesn't have enough air coming in to cool it.
Sure.
So it's kind of like doing an extended run-up, right? So you might try one for training and then maybe try one other one and then take a break and do something else.
Yeah.
But when I ask people in check rides, well, why don't we do plow turns? They typically say, oh, it's, rough on the engine and the prop. That's true, but the real reason we don't do it is you can capsize.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Now, what makes the plow turn work? Well, the very fact that in the plow turn, we have this kind of attitude with the center of buoyancy aft means that, look at all this area sticking up in the wind to weather vane differently. Now, when you are in idle displacement taxi, the main weather vaning surface is the tail, right? When you do this, what's way up in the wind more?
The front of the floats.
Yep, front of the floats and cowling. So depending upon which airplane and float combo you are flying, in the plow, you will experience a different sort of weather vaning. It may be neutralized or it may be opposite weather vaning. Whoa. So this is a huge thing that helps us to overcome the wind. If we have neutralized or opposite weather vaning, all of a sudden we can turn away from it.
Yeah.
Aha. The other thing that makes the plow turn more effective is you have more power, right? You do this at a higher power setting, not takeoff power, but increased to get just enough to get it on the step attitude. Plow attitude. And then you have more airflow and prop wash going over your tail surfaces, right? And so then you can help a little bit of turn with air rudder. You also, this is not an accurate picture of a plow turn with the rudders. You would have your water rudders down for a plow turn. And depending on the speed of the plow turn, they could be more effective for you. I say that because if you have too much disturbed water around the water rudders, they're actually less effective for you. However, if it's simply sped up water, then they're much more effective for you. Okay. Also, if you do this plow turn to the left, then you have left turning tendencies helping you. So there's about 4 reasons why that plow turn works. Yeah. You're gonna learn it, but in reality, we rarely use it. You know what's a way better option to get to your cabin? What do you think? Guess.
Sailing it?
Yes! I love it. You read books.
All right.
That's awesome. Good job.
Thank you.
Yes. So yeah, it's way better to sail. So let's talk about power off sailing. I hope you liked this video and found it helpful. If you did, please click on the subscribe button and the notification bell, and then you'll know when I publish more videos. Thanks for watching. This is the Northbound Flying Channel.